I am here with Poon, and this is her first yoga class. And as it's a class with me, we're going to work on plank pose first, which means we need to prepare your wrists and forearms. All right, so come on to hands and knees position. So where your knees exactly are underneath your hips, and spread your fingers out a little bit. Yep. And then in this position, you want the base of your index finger to be the part of the mat, the part of the hand that grounds into the mat the most. And then you'll move the weight into the base of the middle finger, ring finger, and pinky finger. And then you'll move that weight through the length of your fingers into the fingertips and press down. So you don't want to be leaning on the back of your wrist. No, you can keep it down. But you want, so the back of the wrist is on the ground, but in your mind, you're trying to lift it a millimeter up. Okay?
In my mind.
In your mind, yeah. And then try to move the shoulders away from the ears. Lift right here. A little bit more. Good. Okay, and then sit back on your ankles. Do you feel any pressure in your wrists yet?
Yeah.
Yeah?
It's really tight.
Tight in your forearms?
Yeah.
Is it like a muscle is working, or is it like...
It's like a muscle working.
like a muscle working. Okay. So when you're working with students who are newer to yoga, you want to make sure that you have, and especially English is your second language, we want to make sure that we have clear communication on what the sensations are as best as we can get. So we're going to stretch out your wrists for a little, or your forearms first, a little, but that muscle of the muscles, that feeling of the muscles working is good. That means that you're not dumping weight here, but you're building strength here. But building strength can lead to tightness. So we're going to stretch it out. Put the backs of your hands down and then move your butt back. Oh, you're bendy. No, you can keep your hands up here. Okay, that's enough. All right, so you have very flexible elbows. We're going to keep that in mind as we move into plank pose too. All right, and then turn your hands around and turn your fingertips to point to the sides and just rock side to side, casual. Yeah. And then sit back on your heels again. And just roll out your wrists. Stay 5 in one direction, 5 in the other. And then put your hands back down again. All right. In this position, you want to feel that work of your forearms again. How do your elbows feel?
Full tight.
Tight?
Like locking tight.
Locking tight. Okay, so we want to bend your elbows enough so they look straight. So put a tiny, tiny bend in your elbow. Yes. Yeah.
My
You
elbow
want-
is weird.
Your elbow is special, okay? We're going to reorient you so that people on the screen can see you better. So have your butt close, sit next to me over
Like
here.
this?
Yeah. So you have what's called hyperextending elbows, or a lot of flexibility in your elbows. Yeah. So when you put your hands down, go ahead, put your hands down. Roll this muscle toward your hips. Just that way. Good.
Yeah.
That's all.
That's normal.
And then press this guy down as well. So sit back for a moment. The way the arm works in plank pose, in down dog, in handstand, is the upper arm rolls this way and the forearm rolls this way. So it's like a rug burn. That's how my teachers once described it to me. So take your arms forward and turn your palms up. So you're turning the palms up from the shoulder now. Okay? Keep the upper arm like that, but just turn your hands down. That's your plank pose arms. Okay? Good. Now to take your hands down. Because you're very flexible, we don't want to sink in the joint. So your plank pose is actually going to be causing you to build more strength than other people. People who are tighter don't need as much strength to stabilize that joint, but because you're so flexible, you need a little extra strength to stabilize. So that means instead of sinking into that part of your joint, you're going to put a tiny bend so most people wouldn't even know you're bending your elbow. It's what in yoga we call a micro bend, but it's bent enough so it still looks straight. Make sense? Okay, let's do that over here. Good. Yeah, right there is good. All right. So now walk your knees back so that they're underneath your hips. Okay? Try to move your shoulders down your back, but also move your torso forward enough so your shoulders are over your hands, not your wrists, but your hands. When the shoulders are over the wrist, that can cause dumping in the base of the wrist of the weight. We want to move the weight forward again. Now step your feet back into plank pose. So top of a push-up like this. From here, step and step. Boom. Excellent. Okay. Take your shoulders forward, or your chest forward, I should say. Lift from here. Extend your spine forward. This looks really good. And then let's just lower your butt a little bit in space. And then lift these muscles just a little bit. Yep. Hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2. So strong. Come on down.
Yeah.
How'd that feel?
It's feel good. It feels like really tight and burn.
Yeah, awesome. If you like tight and burn, you're going to love my style yoga. We love the burn. Okay, so we're going to add another layer to it since that went really well. Everything is the same, but the energy of the hands comes together. So you feel these muscles turn on more. Okay? The legs are the same. The energy of the feet comes together. So you want to think, even though the feet, they can touch or not, whichever is more comfortable for you. But we want to think of the energy of the feet coming together by the engagement of the inner thighs. Do it again. Step the feet back. Extend your spine forward. And then I'm going to do a little tucking of your tailbone. So just lift right here from the low belly and see if you can reach this part of your butt toward your heels. That's sideways. Yes, exactly. So we're keeping a little bit of a curve in your back, but we're engaging the core more. So when you lift these muscles, it tends to pull the pelvis into posterior, back body, pelvic, that area of your body, tilt. Chest forward, a little bit more. Relax these guys for another 3, 2, and relax. So that time you held it a lot longer, and it was a little bit easier because you weren't thinking that much about it. Did you get a chance to think of the arms hugging in? No, we had other stuff going on. All right, stand up for a moment, and I just want to explain that posterior, back body, pelvic tilt. So for some people, too much of this can cause back pain. So be careful and pay attention. But eventually, for learning things like handstand and crow pose and stuff like that, you want to be able to tuck your tailbone and lift the front of your pelvis. So come to the center for a second and stick your butt out. Good. And now lift right here. Pull these muscles back. Back. Yes. Do you feel that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that, yes. So when you just do this, then the hips thrust forward. So we put what Anusara, it's a group of yoga people say, inner spiral the thighs, just stick your butt out. Yes. And then at the same time, reach your tailbone down. Lift here. Yes. Oh my God. Do that down there. This is the last time. And then you take what many yogis love. It's called a child's pose. Yes. So try that posterior pelvic tilt. Lift. Yep. That's it. Shoulders forward more. Chest forward. Chest forward. Keep that lift to the belly. Think of the hands drawing together, the feet drawing together. So strong for another 3, 2, and that's it. Put your knees down, and then copy my shape. Knees wide, forehead down, and arms forward. Good work. You give it a try.